Eyeballs and head jokes.
All right, welcome back to Eye Pokes and Head Chokes, episode 7 of Dark Side Thoughts. I'm asking you, motherfucker, is it 7 or not? Jesus.
I know. I didn't want to answer. I believe it's 7.
Cool. We're here with asshole Cooler. I'm gonna
Cooler.
say cooler. I'm gonna say cooler.
No ER on over here.
No, there's an ER today. There's.
That's
what
a
Big Boys have.
Yo.
Big Boys have and Lil E. Langston in the building before his excursion to Arkansas. Because there's no W, so it's not an Arkansas. But yeah, we're here. We're here to talk about the latest episode of Dark Side of the Ring that revolved around the Road Warriors, or as people know them, the Legion of Doom. First thing I took away from it was they're the original Young Bucks. They're like the OG Young Bucks in terms of going everywhere, doing everything, and being world renowned without even touching the WWE or WWF at the time. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I can see that comparison.
Yeah, a lot of it just reminded me of what they did, and I was just like, oh shit! I was like, this is literally the Young Bucks before the Young Bucks even had a thought of being the Young Bucks. Obviously, honestly, probably the best tag team to ever do it, easily said. And I just think that it was really profound and insightful to see what Joe had to say, or Animal, as people know him, about his partner, Hawk, Mike, who he loved that like a brother, but like you put up with the shit because that's your brother, that's your man.
Too many shenanigans, though. It was just too many shenanigans.
No, it is a lot. There was cocaine, which we were hoping for. Unfortunately, there was cocaine. So I mean,
it's the highlight of every story is cocaine.
I know. Once you have cocaine stories, it's like, all right, let's go. But
I said, damn,
no, yeah, like it was really good. What were your thoughts, Tub?
One thing I did like about the documentary, the episode, I should say, is how much different wrestlers came out of Minnesota. It was surprising.
Yeah.
Like they had their own little clique of their own. Because it was Scott Norton,
Rick
Rude.
Scott Norton, yeah.
Mr. Perfect came out of this.
Mr. Perfect, it was quite a bit.
They didn't mention one of the biggest stars to come out of fucking Minnesota, though.
Prince?
No, Dick.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Jerry Lawler.
Oh. I thought he was going with Elvis for a second. I was like, what? Isn't he from Memphis?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not Minneapolis.
Oh, no, Dick.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thanks for that fun fact.
Thank you. Well, now we know Jerry King Lawler is
Brock
from
Lesnar is from Minneapolis.
Yes. From Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Current
so
age.
I'll give you that. I'll give you the Brock Lesnar.
Current age. We'll give you that.
Yeah.
Don't really want to.
I'm going to think of other people while we do this.
Don't.
What about you, Cooler?
I like the fact that like they talk about everything. They got like towards the end they got to the gimmick infringement stuff. Like that was my favorite part of it. It's like, okay, this is like Joe. He says this is my livelihood. This is our gimmick.
That was a slap in the face.
It really was. Yes, very very much a drug addict move. Like it was the perfect fiend move. It's like I'm still fine. I'm still going to be doing everything. Nothing has changed. I just don't have my partner because of he's in that other place that I no longer work at. So I'm going to leave the country and I'm going to use the same gimmick. Horrible.
Without even discussing it with him.
Yes, without
like,
and
like,
I
because
guess
the easy option for him would have been like, all right, bro, quit. We're gonna go back to Japan and let's do our shit over there. That was it. And he was just like, I'm out. I'm going to Japan. Fuck you. Let me get this Japanese cat to be the new partner. I was like,
the Power Warrior.
Power Warrior. Yeah, that was the name of it. I was just like, wow, that's some shady ass shit. And like you said, that is some addict shit to do. Like, it's just like, fuck it, I'll go on my own. You're not making the best decisions.
Said, you're not gonna come with me. I don't need you. I'm over here. I'm gonna make my own money.
But it wasn't even that though. He just fucking left. If he had asked him to go, and he would have been like, "Yo, nah, like I'm gonna stay here. You should like work shit out."
Mm-hmm.
But nah, he was just like, "All right, I'm out," because Joe was doing the right thing. Adam was doing the right thing by staying there, working the rest of what he had to work, what was left on his contract, and to leave everything on good terms with WWE. So at least they might be able to come back afterwards. But like Hawk, he was just like, "Nah, sorry." I got my Power Warrior in Japan.
Bro, they were waiting for him at a fucking interview to do an interview. Him and Paul, Animal and Paul Ellerly.
Yeah, agreed. It's crazy because like when you look at it, the fact that they should have known that was gonna happen, because look at what happened at fucking WrestleMania and SummerSlam at the Wembley. Like
that was amazing. It was an amazing match. After I watched the episode, not amazing match, but it's just the idea of watching this functioning addict.
Yeah.
In the ring.
No, he was not functional at all. Did you see that last sequence?
Just that last sequence. Everything else was okay.
Did you see the match?
As an athlete, to be functioning that way, he was not that sloppy.
Was he Jeff Hardy not functioning or regular?
Yeah, he's not Jeff. Yeah. He's not Jeff Hardy. He and that was just on a hallucinogen. That wasn't just coke. So
but like that's the thing. Like as a partner, like you see your boy come out like that. Like I wouldn't even want to fucking compete, because one, they were supposed to be there for the co-main event, the tag team championships, and they came out second in the card, bro. Because
I don't make no money. I don't make no money.
I agree. You're right, but at the same time, you got to be pissed at your boy too, because it's like.
Oh yeah,
I had the number 8 or 9 spot, which is the co-main event, and
that's the money spot.
Yeah, that's the money spot. So you're definitely not making money. You know what I mean? Like
I completely understand it, but it's not, if you feel like you can work like this, I'm gonna let you work like this, because you obviously have worked somewhat like this in the past. It's 92 in WWE. You can't tell me that he has not worked some way.
I'm not saying he hasn't worked inebriated.
Obviously, he has. Relaxer or painkiller high is not different than a booster.
It is.
Oh,
like
no, of course, but at the same time, I'm still thinking about my liveliness and my family that needs this check.
Yeah, but that was a dumb move by Vince to allow him to do that. I mean,
and also it was a dumb move to even go ahead with the match, because one, he was on a hallucinogen. Two, like who knows what would have happened? He could have fucked up really hard and either broke somebody's neck, broke his own neck in the process.
Yeah, he went to the Doomsday device. Exactly. He could have been pre-draw.
Fucking Doomsday device, exactly.
Like, and he went for it, and he was steady on the top ropes, but. That's not the part that I was worried about when I saw that he could do that. The part that I was worried about is if he would have executed it, how sloppy that would have been. Like,
and you know what's funny? You know what's funny too? Like, opponents have broken their necks before from the Doomsday device.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, not at SummerSlam, but
based on impact, though. Based on the impact on the floor,
not their fault.
The ring.
I mean, it is their fault. It's
either way. It's irresponsible, like, on Mike's part for the whole thing to have happened regardless. Because, like, one, you literally took yourselves from main event status, like, legit main event status, co-main event, to nothing after that. Vince was like, I'm not fucking with you anymore as long as he doesn't get his shit together, which that's why Hawk got pissed and left to fucking New Japan or All Japan, whichever one they were doing. I think
whenever he went to Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pal, I want to see that match. I want to know if I can find it.
Which one?
Anything with Power Warrior.
Anything with Power Warrior?
Yes. I'm really serious. I would love to see whatever came out of that.
I mean, you could probably find it on if it's part of New Japan, because it's New Japan 1972. That's when they officially started. You could probably find it on the fucking New Japan website. Honestly,
everything about the Power Warrior looks bad. The spikes, the gear.
Not to shit on. Like, at least back then, not to shit on it now, because it's hard to shit on like New Japan and like how they present themselves now. Because like, if you were to put like a young Minoru Suzuki as a Power Warrior, I would understand that. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, it's fucking Minoru Suzuki. But that dude just looked out of place. He didn't look like, like
he just looked like a young lion.
He looked like a young lion, but like just a slightly bigger Japanese, more than the average like Japanese person in that suit and that getup.
Just so you guys know, the young lions are pretty much pre-NXT.
Okay.
Yeah. Young lions are like they're still in training, pretty much at the performance center. Technically, they're doing all the grunt work and whatnot. But
getting their ass beat when they sitting there with the legends, or pulling up the grunt work when they're in a regular match with, say, somebody like Lance Archer or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think that gimmick. I think the gimmick could have worked in Japan.
Oh yeah, big time.
Damn, E. Damn.
Oh my lord.
It could have worked. It just didn't work. I feel like just because you had two different cultures, not just characters, cultures, trying to blend together, that they just forced it in. It looked like
in terms of like when he went over there by himself and got the power warrior, yes. But like when they were there, if they would have just went back to New Japan, they would have had that tag team on lock together again. They would have been the shit, because like
remember when Ellering said when they went over there they had they had more signings, or like the room was more filled. Yes, like that is amazing.
They had more press than Michael Jackson. Yeah,
like
that
is amazing.
Crazy.
That's nuts. LOD, the Road Warriors. Who'd have thought? Who would think to look back and think that? So I don't like the culture is kind of crazy, as different as it is, but it's also the same culture that wanted David Schultz to re-slap a different reporter. So it's not that different, or it's not that hard. It's just I think more of the language is a barrier than anything else.
Well, didn't they say too that they enjoy like fear, the whole fear aspect?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean it's huge in the Japanese like culture and whatnot, in terms of like something like when you see like Godzilla, I almost said it like them, Gojira or whatever. When you see them, like they're afraid of those kaiju, those monsters. So when you see these big ass hulking motherfuckers come through the New Japan, compared to like dude was 310 pounds and 6'4", like that's a big motherfucker. Like, and you go to wrestle in Japan, it's like exactly both of them. One was 290, so it's like you have these hulking ass motherfuckers, where in Japan, at least back in the day, like they weren't as big, except for the one dude that he pressed and power slammed onto the floor. I forgot, like, but he was like the main guy. Like that shit was all in the news. Like it made headline news. So for them, that big hulking presence is like, that's where they get all that stuff from, like the kaiju movies and shows and whatever. That's why I get all that stuff in anime, like them going against hulking ass figures. Like that's where they get that shit from. So being there would have made sense.
I can't wait till like everything opens back up as far as like live events, just to go to one of the kaiju events. Oh my God, that's one of the first things that I really want to do.
Don't remind me, please, because I had one set up for over there, the kaiju wrestling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it hurts. It still hurts, even though like fuck it, it's gonna be next year, but fuck it, or hopefully next year, but what, or whenever the fuck. But yeah, yeah, that'll be dope. Like that would be dope. I agree. But back to the Road Warriors. They were just beasts though. When you look at their matches, and I looked at some snippets of matches like after I finished watching it, like the one thing they said about tag teams as being more of an art than singles, I completely agree because both of them have to have that sixth sense. The best tag teams who have that sixth sense. You see the Usos, they have that shit in spades. Like, I mean, and on top of that, they're twins, so that's
they're
easy.
Twins and their brothers. Yeah,
like, yeah,
and
that's easy for them.
And they're colored.
Yeah. But like, and then you look at again with the Young Bucks, they're brothers. So like these guys, they have that brother personality between them already, working for so long. That's why it worked for them for so long. That's why they were beasts for so long, for 14 years in the game, up until he died, unfortunately. But yeah, man.
Is that when they got Heidenreich in there?
Yeah,
2003 sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
3
years after. But yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because it was during the time when SmackDown had the fist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember that. Of course, I might have just blocked out memory of those matches, but I remember him having the face paint.
Heidenreich?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because of that.
Yeah, it has to be. I don't want to jump to too much of the end, but I want to talk about just the fact that, like you were saying, everyone came out of the same area. And what was it? Ole Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
He had the guy who trained him had the bar that he would come up to.
Yes.
He would come to ever so often. And that's how they got signed. Okay, you can do this. Won't you come wrestle? Won't you guys come wrestle? And so many of them were there, and they were not taught the basics. They were just taught fuck each other up. Dude was just saying, no suplexes, none of that, just fight. Who in their right mind wants to just start punching each other in the fucking face?
Vince McMahon, Brawl for All, Vince Russo.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I know what we're talking about. You're right.
Either way, like, I understand why he did what he did, like, just to see what everybody was capable of, and then like that's why. Yeah, it's pretty much like if you can't hang getting beat up, like, because obviously they hadn't been taught really much of anything at that point. Like, they were just trying shit on their own until he actually got in the ring and like actually told them like pull the punch and whatnot instead of like actually cracking the shit out of each other.
So basically, if you can't swim, then you bound to drizzle.
I guess.
Thank you. Okay, Tev, come on.
Tev hates you right now. Do you not understand that?
He understands the reference. I don't care. I haven't watched that movie in years, and I don't know why that played in my head. Maybe I'm blaming you, Alex, because you have the cup and you just drink.
What the fuck you blaming me for?
Because the name of the movie is "Don't Drink Juice in the Hood."
That's not the name of the movie, but
really
okay.
Is not. It's a stupid long title.
Don't drink juice in the hood, he said. Fucking.
I can't
take his black card. I'm sorry. Take that shit away from him just for getting it wrong.
And South Central and shit. So.
Fucking cameo. The one thing that actually also did stand out to me was how like he was in that coke-addled Xanax fucking painkiller alcoholism like fucking show that vortex that fucking sucks everybody, like a lot of wrestlers back in the day, it sucked a lot of them down. Specifically with like even him getting Hep C and shit, like from all the drugs and shit, like, oh
my god.
And he gets cured of it, but then goes back to doing
that wasn't a wake-up call for him.
No, yeah.
Wow.
And then he went right back into doing the same things. The shit that was a wake-up call that oddly just seemed to work was him getting baptized, like just finding religion practically almost out of nowhere. And
remember, he almost died in Japan too. Like that, it was like pretty much right after.
He almost died in Australia. He almost died in the fucking. He had mad. Yeah.
No, this like I think that death in Japan was something different to him because it's just like he calls the animal and says I'm not dying here.
That was Australia.
Australia,
yeah, but okay. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're.
Bro, he went head on. He went head on with a fucking tractor trailer got rolled over by 6 rows of fucking tires.
Okay, I missed
like if that's not something to fucking change your mindset. Like, I don't know what the fuck is.
Yeah. Well, everyone has their tipping point. And that's one crazy fucking tipping point. Like, to have all of that and none of those be the tipping point is really wild.
Sometimes, look, this is one thing. Like, I can't discount religion. Like, I'm not a religious person. Like, we all grew up. Like, at least I grew up raised Roman Catholic. I got baptized, communion. I even got my confirmation. I could get married in a fucking Catholic church whenever the fuck I want, wherever the fuck I want, pretty much. As long as I have the marriage license. But the thing is, like, after that, like, making your own decisions after looking at religion, like, I'm not too keen on the idea of religion as a whole, but I do respect what it can do for people overall. And the fact that he went to just this one church that one time, decided to get baptized in the pool and completely did a 180, like, it does that's honestly fucking miraculous. It is, because like a lot of people will have a lot of struggles with that type of stuff. Just quitting cold turkey. He practically quit cold turkey and led a better life after he got baptized, which is like some practically insane shit. Like, you don't, it's in the realms of a miracle, because you don't really hear a lot of people just getting that type of stuff. So like, that was like actually pretty impactful, where I was just like, yo, like, that's kind of nuts. Like, it made me think overall, like, a lot of people, like, even though I'm not too keen on religion, like, it does have its uses for certain people if they feel the need to, like, you know, hey, this is what I was probably missing the whole time. You know what I mean?
Everyone reacts to religion differently. Like you said, I'm not religious either. I've seen a lot of different religions and learned a lot, but I'm more spiritual than anything else, because no matter what one is getting wrong, they're all getting the same thing right.
They're all practically talking about the same thing, honestly. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, no matter what. But like, yeah, I just found it like really cool that I was like, okay, you know, like, regardless of what religion or what sect of said religion it was, like, just Christianity overall, he got baptized. Like, it's just, it was pretty big deal. Like, as soon as that happened, he found the fucking fiance. He started giving a shit more about his family, about Joe, about what he was doing. You know, left the alcohol and drugs and whatever as best he probably could. And then
he had a purpose.
Yeah, he had a purpose afterwards. And you could even see in that interview where he was like being asked, like, when he was in the gym with the blue shirt, and he's just being asked if he was just like super calm, super whatever, like, compared to like all his other interviews that he ever had given. Like, he just looked like he found that center.
Yeah, like he was just like content. Like, everything was just, he was at peace finally.
Mm-hmm. That was crazy. And then, of course, like, you know, as soon as you figure it out, like, but
I think that's just usually what it happens. Like, once you become like super, like, once you've had like the crazy life where you experimented in so many different facets, and then you get on your, I guess you're right, get on the right track of just life, of just being more receptive to others and being more in mind of, okay, I'm here for other people. That's a lot of the time what happens is like that's when that person is most at their most peaceful and receptive and respectful and just want to give more, and then that's just when it's pretty much over.
Yeah,
it happens a lot.
I mean, let's not pretend that a lot of this wasn't because of that he was coked and fucking, like, his heart was put through the ringer multiple times in those fucking 20 some odd years or whatever to that point, because he was always a go hard or go home type person regardless.
He went super hard.
he went hard. But like, it was fucking crazy. And then, like, of course, like, once you make that transformation, it's just like, damn, cuz, like, all right, you got it, you figure it out, bet we out.
So what other wrestlers of the 80s are they going to do this on? Because we need more. I really don't know what we're going to get for this third season.
They're going to have to go international with, like, lesser known shit. Like, they could do a whole thing, like, probably on the Colognes in Puerto Rico, bro. Like, technically speaking, like, that would be a dope thing
dangerous.
To do.
That is
really dangerous. It is. 100% agree. But, you know, like, it's
because that company is still alive, and the kids are now alive. So that's really dangerous.
They're not part of WWE, so you might as well you can get that set for next season. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
it depends, and it also depends on what the subject matter is. You know what I mean? Like, it's obviously you're not gonna want to go in and disrespect motherfuckers right off the bat. Like, it's gonna have to be a certain, like, I would just like an in-depth look at like the promotion down there, like with the Colognes, like how the wrestling family over there is pretty much. Because as much as renowned as they are, like, I don't, besides seeing Primo and Epico, like, I really don't know much about the wrestling family. You know what I mean?
Hey, and Carlito.
Oh yeah, Carlito. Yeah, I forgot.
Well, I don't have.
He thought he was cool.
He was cool shit without that damn shirt. But
I mean, they could probably do like the whole rise and fall of WCW next season.
That should be like 2 episodes.
That should be a whole season.
I don't think they'll do
it. I think they could do a 3-part episode.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard because of that. Because they're technically WWE, so that's the issue. Even though they showed a lot of WCW footage and whatever, like, but a lot of it, like,
a lot of WWE footage as well. Like, they really showed that SummerSlam '92. They showed a lot. Like, WWE gets shit, but whether or not they're not participating in this show or this series, they're giving footage away.
Yeah, they are.
They're giving footage away. And that's one thing I've noticed with, like, we talk about the Brawl for All. That whole episode is WWE. The next episode is Owen. That's going to be a lot of fucking footage. I know they're going to
finale?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Owen's the last one.
Yes, it is. So this is going to be really amazing. I really like it. I really like what they're doing. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know what they're going to be able to touch on because everything is so taboo. And it's not even just everything is taboo. It's just these are like everything. First season and second season are high profile.
Yeah,
I don't know much else of what I'm missing.
I mean, there might be stories that you don't know about. You know, like,
I know there's locker room. These are more so locker room stories that I want to hear. So,
or if they can't find shit, it might be the end of the fucking series.
Or like they could talk about Bam Bam Bigelow's death.
Oh
yeah,
Test.
They could talk about
Test, exactly.
They could talk about Canyon.
Oh my, yeah, because apparently he was gay, and there's so much into that I know nothing about. So it could be more into that of who, where, what, why, and when,
and how.
Definitely how. And who else was there, of course. So, like, that'd be like a lot of interesting stories that they can touch on. Is just how much can they? Who's going to take part? Because I feel like a lot of these stories people are not taking a part of.
They're not, because for obvious reasons, because they're still tied to WWE and they can't say much, to be honest with you. Because that's the real tie. Like, let's not pretend like fucking anybody from AEW will probably just pop up and be like, yeah, they'll be perfectly fine with. But like, if
I love Jim Ross,
if you're fucking with Disney's wrestling, you know, like fucking WWE, it's hard to like be able to go and like really, really in depth with a lot of things. So that's understandable on that end. But I think there's enough for a season 3 for them to probably look through and
maybe even a 4. Like there's just locker room stories that I want to know about that I've never even heard about. So yeah, you're right. And this just gives me this just lets me know how many people I actually respect a little bit more, need to respect a little bit more, because they're willing to say these things without discounting people or without disrespecting the dead or anyone else that was involved. Like, love Jim Cornette, but I don't need to hear the hate of Russo all the time. And although they have their thing, and I understand it, but it may come off like he might hate everyone else at the same time.
But also, we need to be reminded that Lincoln did not free the wrestlers.
Yes, exactly.
I knew that
It's
was
like,
coming, so
yeah.
I was like,
We-
is he gonna do it? And he,
Yeah.
he
I'm not
had
gonna
to.
lie. I love that stupidity. I love it. I love that type of stupidity.
The
Like
dumbest fucking statement I've
I
ever.
love that. That is the most
Like
entertainment.
I've heard dumb shit, but
not
that
like that before.
one,
Not like
that was pretty out there. Are there any other thoughts on the Road Warriors thing?
Before we get to the Road Warriors, I like your Marty Skrull shirt. I can't really see it, but I like it. Is that an OC shirt that you have on, E?
OGBC.
Okay, even better. Even better. I thought it was an original club. Even better. Tab, what do you have on? Is that
Nothing wrestling related. It's actually Kami from Dragon Ball Z.
even better?
That's even better.
Nice. Kame House.
Kame House, not Kame House.
I know. I like being silly.
Fucking non-anime watching ass.
No, I watch it. They say the Kame House like 5 times in 2 series. So what?
So any other thoughts on Road Warriors?
I just like the fact that they went through so much.
They probably could have even been bigger.
Think before you party.
You know.
Yeah.
They could have been. They could have been the biggest. For me, still, they are the biggest and best tag team to have ever done it. And obviously, there's a lot of other tag teams that aren't like super far away, but are close, somewhat close to that in terms of
who's close?
What they bring to the table. What do you mean?
Who's
close overall?
Yeah.
I'd have to say, like, in terms of having that sixth sense and shit, like, I'd have to give it to the Usos and or the fucking the Young Bucks in terms of how. For the Usos, it's just in terms of how seamless and everything works and how they are. And again, this comes back to them being twins and brothers. And the same thing with the Young Bucks. Like, they're brothers. They know what each one is thinking. Even if they're not twins, they know they've been together long enough throughout their whole life to be able to know what the other guy's thinking when it comes to it. So, like, that's why, like, when they were talking about how they went around the world winning championships everywhere in every promotion, didn't matter if it was in the US, Japan, fucking England, it didn't matter where they went, they won. It reminded me of the Young Bucks, and it reminded me also of the Hardy Boys too, when they went around with their tour of gold and shit as well. So, like,
how did you feel about the belts from the belts from Chicago that they were just given on their first appearance?
What do you mean? Why you Chicago?
Because they were given it. They didn't win it. Like, I like that idea of started off to make them look like badasses. I like that.
I was fine with that. I was fine with that because of the time. Because back then you didn't know. You didn't have social media. You didn't have all this shit. So, like, when you couldn't keep track of them, are they actually champions or not? Oh, this is bullshit. No, like, when they came out as champions already, you're like, oh, these are some motherfuckers right here. Like, you about to get some shit. And that just one idea is what I'm not gonna say it completely propelled them, but it's a great starting point. Like, it's a great starting point. You're already on a pedestal. It's your job to go up higher. It's easy to go down. Like, it's easy to fuck it up, but it's your job to, like, to build yourself and make it actually all work.
92 proved that.
Yeah, until they fucked it up. Exactly. Hawk fucked it up for them. So yeah, which is the second thing. But it's overall, I think it's a good redemption thing for him. Like, even though he did all that fucked up shit, like, he turned his life around and was on the right path. And then, unfortunately, because of all the fuckery before, his heart finally gave out. Which
that moment where Animal just said, like, he got him back to the States, and he just said, he got him back to, yes. Oh my God.
It's hard. It's hard to do, and I could imagine how hard it was for him to do that. But
it's just like, get the fuck out. It's like, get the fuck out my car. Get out. Like, that's pretty much what it was. Like, he got him back to Florida. It's like, well, wherever you're trying to go now, go. Like, that was the point for me to let me know, like, okay, he was 100%
he's done. Yeah, he's done. Especially after, like, the fact that you have to, like, get him out of the hospital because of the fact that he was like, oh, I don't want to die here. You have to get me out. It's like, bro, if you stay here, they'll be able to help you. But when you're in that moment. He's not thinking clearly, and he wants to get the fuck out and go home.
You can't even help me get back to my state. And it's not even about me playing the victim. It's just God damn, you don't want to deal with me even in knowing that there's an addiction. There's so much happening.
After a certain point, you can't be the babysitter all the time, unfortunately. And that's one thing I wholeheartedly agree with. I've had friends where they need that extra person to be like, nah, yo, chill, you shouldn't be doing this. And you keep talking them through it, and yeah, you're right. They don't do it, and then they go and do it, and it's just at what point do you stop?
What happened?
I said you had that moment recently.
Or
but it's
coming up on a year that he did that shit,
Oh man. Hey. That's it. Go.
But the thing is, you're just gonna, at one point, you're just gonna run out of fucking patience, bro. You're gonna be fed up with shit, and it's just gonna be I'm fucking done.
Huh?
First time I asked him for that kind of help.
Yeah.
He was just tired. He said it. He's tired. Big old baby. He said he's tired. I lost $3 grand because he was tired.
Fuck you! It's my vacation too.
Oh man. Yeah, this is on vacation. It's doubling up.
He blames it on that, but that was all you, bro. You should have known to stop. I still remember that phone call, and then he just started singing "Nowhere to Fall Down." He started cracking up. I was like, "Oh, he lost it all."
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's nothing.
That shit was crazy. He just kept fucking winning back to back to back. I was like, "All right, let me go use the one he's using, all X's." And he'd go to the next one right over and go, "Poop." $1,000. I was like,
we should have just took the vouchers from him.
We should have jumped him. Should have. We actually should have.
Yeah. At least we know what to do next.
With one voucher, we should have left them with at least. Go play with that. Give us those, and then we give it to them in the morning, or we don't. We just say, "Yo, you lost it."
This is at the end of the trip. This is for you.
Yeah. That would have been
or not.
I would have told him he lost all that money, just because we were all fucking out of our minds by that point, and at 2 a.m, I think I was falling asleep at the
2, 3. So all I know, it was in fucking Vegas. There's no windows. You can't see what the hell is happening. So whatever time you felt like it was, it was. Last thing I want to talk about is back to the gimmick. How many stages of face paint they went through? How many stages of costuming? From looking like the.
It's about figuring it out.
Yeah, they had that chance of figuring it out, but at the same time, they were just so great in the ring that they had the chance to figure it out.
The other thing was, they had the time and chance to figure it out because of the fact that they weren't part of one promotion. They went wherever the fuck they went. They could figure it out as they go, and they ended up figuring it out. And somebody said, "Hey, maybe you should do Mad Max," and that was a perfect thing because the first time I ever saw them. I was just, and I saw I had seen Mad Max. I was like, it has to do. I was like, it has to be Mad Max. So, but not that's what you get when you get the chance, and when you're doing shit on your own. That's why the Young Bucks were able to get as big as they did, because of the fact that they were able to jump around. Even though they were in Ring of Honor, they were in Japan, but they still showed up everywhere else. They still had
because they were shit and not that they were shit, but they looked so generic in Impact. Super generic. So they just need time, and they need places to go that's willing to give them opportunities to be different and just evolve.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Anyone else? Nah, Dunzo.
Lack of voice, motherfuckers.
So after the Owens episode, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the Undertaker series that they have going on with WWE right now. Pretty much his last dance, but for the Undertaker type thing. So we're gonna probably go over episodes 1 and 2, I guess, by next 2 weeks from now, I guess, or whenever the fuck.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, probably 2 weeks from now. So
we'll figure it out.
Yo,
Yeah.
also Ruthless Aggression coming back too, man.
It is.
So
I
How
don't
much?
know when, but it's coming
how
back.
how many eras of Ruthless Aggression were there?
oh wait, you mean the series?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait, how many episodes did they put out?
I think it's like 4.
6.
6? Oh, I only seen 2. So okay, I'll go back and watch that. Yeah, we could talk about
one.
those. So,
I
like,
got
we
one
could
just
definitely-
on John Cena, just on fucking Evolution.
I saw the John Cena one and I saw the Evolution one. So that's
Brock
where I
Lesnar
stopped.
one was
Yeah,
good
Brock
too.
Lesnar.
I
That
saw
one I
those
saw.
three.
I saw those 3 then. So yeah, there's definitely stuff we could talk about in that. Because like the one thing I would say about WWE, their documentary series stuff like that is done really well.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoy watching it. Like I even ended up watching right after the Undertaker one. I went on to watching I Am the Game about Triple H and how
The
he
Untold.
that
was
one was
that
awesome.
was really amazing.
That one was awesome, and I was just like, oh, okay, that's another one we could definitely talk about. So like I had
He gives Mick Foley so much fucking props from
because Mick Foley
January.
was a fucking man.
No, I'm just saying. I would never think that he would, based on in-ring persona. But it's great. It's great that he does it.
But you got to look at it like 97. Who was he feuding with most of the time, aside from Undertaker? Mankind, that is, you know.
Okay.
He was feuding with Triple H quite a bit, and that kind of helped Triple H like be more aggressive in the ring.
Yeah.
When he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
That SummerSlam match he had, dope.
Yeah, they go over that shit. So like, if you haven't seen it, I would suggest to watch it because
do you want to know my
that
favorite
piece
match
of
that
stuff,
Triple
like-
H has ever had? Ultimate Warrior.
Oh
Yeah.
All right, and with that, I think
That
that's
was
the
like
end
10
of the
seconds. And he no-sold the pedigree. That was amazing.
That was actually pretty cool. But that's the end of the episode. Thanks again, guys, for being with us. You could follow us on Twitter at
Churchill.
myself at _Alex75_ the guy that's too busy laughing at _KEWLA. Tev on Twitter at Anomalous Fringe, on Instagram at Anomalous_Enigma, and the other boy Roland at
Rolling.
Twitter is world_of_Bando.
Yeah.
And then the other one is BK_Bando_90 on Instagram. Yeah.
He don't even
He
know.
don't even fucking know. And if you want some masks, you could some eye pokes and head chokes masks, you could check out Redbubble and get your new masks. So you can go out into the city and or wherever you live. And also listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher and Transistor FM. Thanks again for being here, guys, and we'll catch you guys next week.